As 2025 comes to an end, there's been a lot of confusion around what people keep calling the EU IPTV crackdown. For months, people have been expecting some giant new law to drop, something that would make IPTV illegal overnight. But the truth is very different and honestly far more interesting. This year wasn't about passing new legislation. Instead, 2025 became the most aggressive enforcement year Europe has ever seen against IPTV networks. Europol, Eurojust, national police forces and private anti-piracy groups came together and went after the big players behind illegal IPTV. There was no single IPTV law this year. What happened instead was a coordinated push to dismantle IPTV operations using the laws that already exist. The focus wasn't on casual viewers sitting at home. It was on suppliers, large distributors, resellers, and the organised networks that run these systems across multiple countries. One of the biggest anti-piracy stories of the entire year happened in November during something called Intellectual Property Crime Cyber Patrol Week. Now, investigators from more than 15 countries pooled their intelligence to follow the money behind IPTV networks. And what they uncovered was huge. They mapped 69 piracy and streaming sites, flagged 25 IPTV operations, and discovered that these platforms attract almost 12 million visitors a year. But the headline you probably saw, or didn't, is that they traced around 47 million euros in cryptocurrency flowing through wallets linked to these IPTV networks. They even purchased IPTV subscriptions using crypto, tracked those payments on-chain, and then followed the transactions through exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, with help from companies like Chainalysis and Irdeto. This wasn't just a takedown, it was a financial map of how these networks earn money, move it, hide it, and who sits behind it all. It resulted in dozens of new investigations across Europe. Illegal IPTV has become a massive business, and Europol has linked it to money laundering, fraud, and other forms of organised crime. So instead of targeting websites or sending copyright notices, 2025 was the year Europe shifted to dismantling the entire infrastructure. Servers, hosting, crypto payments, and reseller networks. Now, this is the question that everyone asks, and the answer is not directly. European enforcement didn't go after individual viewers, but viewers absolutely felt the effects. Throughout 2025, IPTV became more unstable than ever. Channels disappeared, more DNS blocks appeared, apps failed to load, streams cut out mid-match. Some users even received warning letters in a few regions, particularly from groups like FACT in the UK, reminding them that streaming copyrighted content illegally is still a violation of the law. But the goal of 2025 was to hit the criminal groups, not the people watching. Now here's the part a lot of people want to know. What happens next? Even though no new EU-wide IPTV law passed this year, many of the big organisations are pushing the EU to introduce stronger and more consistent rules. Things like real-time blocking powers, continent-wide takedown processes, and faster cross-border enforcement. After the success of the crypto mapping operation this year, there's a lot of pressure building. So 2026 may end up bringing the legislation people expected in 2025. If you feel like IPTV was more unreliable this year, that's exactly why. Providers shut down overnight, payments were frozen, servers were seized, and certain live events become almost impossible to watch through illegal IPTV services. If your service suddenly vanished this year and you had to scramble to find another one, let me know in the comments. I know a lot of people were in the same boat. And honestly, this kind of instability is probably going to continue and maybe even get worse next year. So if you do use IPTV, it's much safer to stick with monthly subscriptions rather than locking yourself into a full year, because there's always the chance the service could disappear overnight. Whenever enforcement ramps up, people look for ways to protect their privacy, especially when ISPs start blocking or throttling certain traffic. Personally, I've used NordVPN all year because it keeps everything encrypted and hidden from my internet provider, and it stops throttling and filtering when networks get congested. It's also great when traveling. Use whichever reputable VPN you trust, but in a year like this, it definitely helps. If you want to check out my recommended VPN, you can find a link in the description and pinned comment to the latest deals and best offers. To wrap up, 2025 didn't bring a new IPTV law, but it did bring the most coordinated crackdown Europe has ever carried out. Europol traced millions in crypto, mapped dozens of networks, and opened new investigations across the continent. Users weren't targeted, but they definitely felt the fallout. More buffering, more blocks, and more instability. And 2026 might be the year we see a unified EU approach to tackling IPTV. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the EU should go even further next year? Or should they leave viewers alone and focus only on the big criminal networks? It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.